Okay, draft time for game one. Cloud9 versus Vici Gaming. Everyone, hold on to your seats seriously for this one, because I've got a feeling this could be an absolutely monstrous game on a roller coaster we haven't seen yet at the International.
Priorities are going to change. I don't think Bounty Hunter will be let through any game in this series. I think Wisp will be high contention, and I actually think Broodmother is going to slip by at least one of these games, because both of these teams love Broodmother.
Yeah, that's a full possibility. And I think Wisp is high priority, as you said, but I'm not sure if Vici are 100% about banning it, as C9 just came down from winner bracket, losing when they played Wisp. So there's a possibility they will try letting them play it and bait out the same type of contest against it.
Yes, but CDEC had a full, 3 days to prepare against Cloud9, whereas Vici has only had 1 day, and I think that makes a big difference. And as we saw, eHome was super prepared versus Team Secret. The few days of difference is a lot of time in preparation.
It definitely is. It makes a huge difference for a team. So far, Bounty Hunter and Undying be the bans from Cloud9, and Leshrac, Naga Siren banned out by Vici. So Gyrocopter and Queen both going through. I think Queen probably going to get first pick, but it is C9, and they do love Gyro really much.
I really don't think Gyro is their hero, though. I watch Cloud9 play Gyro a lot, and I feel like they don't use the hero as well as the other teams do. They're not aggressive enough with it. I really want Cloud9 to go back to what they used to play, which is, I'd really like to see, well, they went for the Gyro again. I hope they use it differently this time around, and they play,
wow.
They need to try to play more aggressive than what we saw.
Well, Cloud9 also typically likes to leave the options over for later for Fada, so Beastmaster and Dragonite perhaps are options for Fada later on. So I'm kind of happy that they picked up Gyrocopter fairly early, if they wanted to go for that type of carry anyway, so that Fada can have the hero of his choice later on.
If you're Bone7, you're intimidated. They picked those two heroes so quickly that, I mean, you saw him, he had a huge binder as he was walking out. I wonder what's in there, but when a team picks Clockwork and Lina that quickly, you know that they knew.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't expect anything else than a Gyrocopter first pick there, I think. So now Cloud9 are a little bit thrown off. And
usually they would go for Wisp here. They're probably really hesitant about it, though, because of the Lina.
That's definitely a thing, as you said as well. When you pick really quickly, you put the enemy team on the spot. It's like, okay, what are we going up against? Most likely your brain is going to tell you it's a pocket strat. They have prepared 5 heroes in particular they want against us because they picked that quickly.
Yeah.
But they're going to go for the Wisp again. It is a nice way to activate and get the Gyrocopter ganking. I have seen games where C9 played really beautiful active ganking Gyrocopter, but that was with a Beastmaster, not the DK mid. That's when it really came online the most.
Bone7's just wondering if this is a trap, though.
If you're Cloud9 right now, you're going to look at the ban, see if that gives anything away, because, as you said, I mean, they're probably expecting something, and I mean, from our point of view, it's just Clockwork and Alina, it can be anything.
Yeah. So far, it's very standard as well. It's just Leshrac and Naga being banned out. So second phase is when Vici really are showing their colors. So getting rid of the Winter Wyvern, good counter to Wisp, as we saw earlier. Can definitely lead to Gyrocopter team killing. Nice to get rid of that.
Yeah, they're taking their time, not as prompt with their bans in this in the second ban phase here as they were with the picks.
Yeah, I think so far, I mean, we talked about how Vici hasn't had, 3 days to prepare or anything, but so far the draft is pretty predictable for C9. If you're just to think about it, what 2 heroes will they pick if we leave Gyro and Wisp? It's probably going to be those 2 heroes. Most of the times C9 will take that.
I'd like to see, I'm watching those drafts, and I'd like to see a Venomancer from C9. They play core Veno on Fada, and I think it can be quite effective versus the way Vici plays, especially when you have a Wisp lineup, because you're going to delay them from, their push is going to be delayed by a lot, and if you actually force the issue and try to dive the Venomancer and, couple, maybe even 3 heroes get hit by Veno's ulti, and then Wisp relocate into that could be really, really hard to fight into. I think it's they have so many picks they haven't tried yet or haven't used.
Yeah,
I'd really like to see those.
They only played 1 game of Venomancer in the entire group stage. It did work for them, I think. I can't recall. Either way, it did a lot of work in the game. Can't recall if they won it, but Fada does love to play that. And he plays it pretty suicidal. We'll get his Blink Dagger at some point and just jump in, get ulti on everyone, which makes it quite easy for Gyro.
He really is a space maker. He's the type of mid hero that farms a lot, but he creates space with the way he farms. He's not going to farm your jungle or the steal farm from Envy, the safe farm. He's just going to push it to the limits, push out the lanes, be out of position a bit, but just be ready to go back because he has good map awareness. He's that type of mid-oriented farmer. So
He's pretty selfless in the way he plays, and that's why I think it was a smart ban by Vici to get rid of Beastmaster, because as you say, map awareness. When he has the Hawks up, he micros them really well, and it's so hard to gank anyone on C9.
And they have a 100% win rate with him as well so far in the international. So picked it 3 times for Fada, 3 times a win. Pretty smart ban. They just profit the last ban. Very unusual.
I think Cloud9 should brood at this point. There's no Darks here because there's Clockwork already taken by Vici Gaming. And I think it's very common for people to pressure a lot with Brood so that IO can get his level 6. And they actually don't really have any good Brood counters. Storm Spirit, I think, is actually one of the better safe laners versus them, but aside from that, there aren't that many left.
Yeah,
maybe.
It could really abuse the Rubik as well. Like, he's not a very good support against Broodmother early on. He can definitely get chased down by the spiders. I think it's in their mind already, because when it's not banned in the second phase, every team is going to think about it, like, can we get away with this? And for Vici Gaming, it's not as strong, so maybe
yeah, they can just wait for
second.
Fourth.
Yeah, exactly, as a 4th pick.
Well, they've been going for the Rubik a lot. There's no surprise there.
Shadow Fiend.
Oh my god, the instant picks from
That
Vici
is,
again.
yeah. They are prepared, and that's also confirmed in Alina for Super. So excited to see that on for him. He's a very defensive mid player, I find sometimes, but on Alina he is anything but defensive.
Yeah, and this is also finalizing. We have the Clockwork, the AA. You can definitely see where this is going. Clockwork hooks in, AA sends ulti. You have the Lina, who brings a lot of his damage really quickly in a burst. And Rubik is pretty much just a popular Eastern support hero. He has been played a lot by any of the Chinese teams. I think this is a really solid draft so far. Curious to what carry they want. Maybe that is situational
Well,
in the game, though.
to me, the only weakness of Vici's draft right now is that they lack physical damage, like incredibly. They
How about
have
Luna, then?
almost only magical damage. I'd say Luna is mostly magical as well, at least until she gets like Butterfly and items like this, and then sure, but I feel like, you know, both Gyro and SF are BKB carriers, like they're gonna get it quite early, and the 4 heroes Vici have right now, they don't really deal well with the BKBs. Sure, when Lina gets act and everything, but if you shut down the Lina a bit, my point is that Vici's last hero is gonna have to be very, very good at dealing physical damage, else there's a big window for Cloud9 to actually take objectives.
I'll try and summon a hero that hasn't been picked a lot then. Let's just imagine a Void pick for Vici Gaming.
Yeah.
It could work really well into your lineup. And
It really could. And it's gonna
your description.
Exactly, and it's gonna turn this magical damage into, like, you know, potential damage, because obviously when you're chrono you can't use your BKB, so all those heroes become relevant. It would be a really good pick, actually.
What do you make of this draft so far, Merlini?
I mean, on Vici's side, they have all ultis that are like pretty low cooldown. I think that Faceless Void would be pretty good, and I like it a lot, but I mean, they tend more towards the safer carries, right? For the Phantom Lancer, for the Ember Spirit, for the Anti-Mage that we've seen so often.
Yeah. Pogna Bang incoming, probably, from Vici.
I just want to say that I really like the fact that Cloud9 just stick to their guns. I think, again, they lost twice yesterday with it, but I still think it's the right way, like it's the right approach for them. And I'm pretty sure they will bounce back. I'm giving them energy, you know, because I'm always for the dark horse. But I think it's a very positive sign.
Yeah, it can always be risky to just change up completely just because something didn't work against one team, and that team is on fire right now. I mean, CDEC is really crushing, so I don't think that C9 needs to change their strat.
I like Vici bringing back the Rubik AA duo. AA is a hero that we really haven't seen that much, but he's actually a really strong roamer in combination with someone that you can actually get some right clicks off. Rubik, Vengeful Spirit, for example, and we've seen some Shadow Fiends get away with a ton of farm. This time, Shadow Fiends is on Dire. They have a strong mid, and they have a double strong support duo.
Yeah, and later on, of course, stopping the IO from doing any forms of heals on the Gyrocopter or Shadow Fiend, whoever he's tethered to. That will have a big impact as well. Will make the fights a bit shorter, that's for sure.
Yeah, removing the Brood as a 5th pick here.
It was quite smart, because I'm pretty sure they were still thinking of the Brood. It could have helped them a lot as a pocket pick, but especially because they have the last pick. But it's not going to be an option now. Good awareness from
It
FY.
would have been a devastating pick against Rubik and AA, who really don't want to face up against that early on. Lina being the only one who really likes that matchup. I wonder what C9... Oh, they can remove Ember. That's true. That could be a fighting carry that suits here. Still plenty of magical damage though until you really hit that late game, similar to Luna when you add your physical.
Well, if you're playing against Cloud9, at some point you kind of have to play late game.
And that's the pocket pick, the Hao Spectre.
The global strat is real from Vici.
And they really started picking Spectre when Hao joined because he's such a great Spectre player. He's always been.
I'm excited for this. Spectre is one of my favorite heroes to watch. Despite her being farmy and slow, her ulti, I mean, you can contribute every time you have it up. And that's more than many carries do, actually.
Cloud9 have a big opening, a really big opening, because Spectre is not also this physical damage dealer. I think they need to get something that wants to group up as well. And when they get those BKBs on Gyro and SF, they just go and push towers.
Yeah, Spectre's super risky here. Like, her laning phase is really, really weak. We've seen Cloud9 run Gyro Wisp in the off lane a lot to pressure stronger melee carries than Spectre, and Spectre being super weak, the Rubik and AA can't really do that much.
I think an aggressive hero like this is great. I really like the Phoenix because they're going to force the issue, not too early, but at some point they're going to be on the offensive, and that's very good for them in that game.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. We will be returning to the analysis desk at the very end, but now time to go over to our commentary team for the final game of the day.
That's right, I'm Capitalist. I'm joined by Blitz, Cloud9 versus Vici Gaming. And as you can see, we've got some rabid fans on both sides of the table. But one of these sides of fans is going to be walking home pretty sad because we are in our last series of the night, and it is an elimination match, Blitz.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy too. It's C9 versus Vici Gaming, both teams that you would never have expected either of these teams to be in the situation that they are. Cloud9 is a consistent top 5 finisher in most tournaments. Vici Gaming throughout the year looked dominant at various stages, and the fact that one of these teams have to go home and have a chance to play against MVP Phoenix, who already waits for them in the top 8, is pretty absurd to me.
All right, so we have our game started here. What I love about this first game between Vici Gaming and Cloud9 is that we've got some signature heroes on both sides of the table. So let's run over them, shall we? Eternal Envy is going to be playing as Gyrocopter Misery. Signature hero for him, probably one of the best Banes in the business. We've got, of course, Big Daddy No Tail on his Wisp. Mid is going to be Fada playing the SF, and that just leaves Bone7 playing the Phoenix. But here's another one. Vici Gaming, they've got Hao playing the Spectre. Blitz, what did you think about that last pick, Spectre?
I really like it. I think it synergizes incredibly well with their lineup. They've got the AA ultimate plus the Clockwork Rocket. There's plenty of damage to specialize with the Haunt. And Hao, he's one of the best Spectre players in the world, if not the best. He's one of the few people that still run it. And that's how you know you're good at a hero. If your team still runs it for you and nobody else picks it, it means that it is a hero that you specialize in. But C9, like you said, they've got a few flavor picks. An interesting thing about Bone7's Phoenix, apparently, I mean, No Tail was a god at the hero, and so he actually helped them a lot in learning it.
Oh, wow, look at that. FY already grabbing the very early counter ward against Cloud9 in that top rune spot. FY is going to be playing Rubik, of course, probably one of the best Rubiks out there in the world right now. Cloud9, we're actually going to have an early level 1 fight over the bounty rune. Fada's already setting himself up. Hao's going to challenge him. Meanwhile, Ice, though, he's locked inside of the cogs with Misery. That's not a place he wants to be, and he'll be giving up first blood. Misery, though, the turnaround kill for Vici Gaming. So they did snag the bounty rune there on Hao, but gave up the first blood in the process. And that top bounty rune is actually still there. All 5 members of both team went down to the bottom. Looks like Bone7 is going to be the one to snag it.
And Bone7 has a pretty absurd start. He got the first blood last hit. He's about to get a bounty rune. Halfway to level 2. This is going to be so difficult for Ice to recover, who decided to go for the boots build. But Bone7, knowing that he was going to be in the safe lane, opts for a much less defensive build. This is a lot better for the lane, just because Ice only has 1 set of regen, and that clarity is not going to help him in this lane. Whereas Bone7, 2 sets of regen, immediately going for the Tranquil Boots, which he already has pretty much.
Yeah, that's going to be huge, the fact that he can pick up boots right away. And this matchup is not terribly favorable for the Clockwork either, right? Because the big thing about Fire Spirit slowing down your attack speed so drastically is that Ice, if he uses cogs at the wrong moment and he's Fire Spirited up, he can't actually get out of his own cogs.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a really good way. I didn't think of that. It's going to be hard for him to deal with this lane regardless, just because of the advantage that he started out with. Giving a hero first blood, especially your offlaner, and I guess in this case it's the safe lane is going to help so much as Ice already has a lot to deal with. But in this bottom lane, I mean, this is the interesting thing for me. How often do we see the IO played in the safe lane? But
already grabbing Big Daddy. He's so tether away, but the right click is still there. And now Misery is trapped up against 3 heroes. He will be able to run down river and will be fine. judging that, they've already lost their Wisp. Is it still worth it? Cloud9 running an aggro tri-lane here and leaving Bone 7 a favorable lane like this. Is the trade-off worth it, Blaze?
I think they just kind of have to stick with it at this point in the game. Like, there's nowhere else for them to really go. The Bane can just rotate around, which I guess is the next best thing for him to do. And Super's being harassed pretty hard, and he's going to go for the rune to top, but Misery does want to try to get aggressive, but they have a ward right there. The problem right now is that FI denies the rune right in front of No-Tail, and he actually really needed that. He started using most of his bottle charges. He only has one left, and how often do you see a lane with Gyrocopter tri-lane on tri-lane lose?
Yeah, it's very rare, and just all that pick off on the Wisp early on, and now him not being able to have any offensive power whatsoever in this lane, just the tether by itself. I have to say, I keep looking up to this lane, and I'm loving what Ice is doing here. Every single time he's trying to utilize Cogs to push back Bone 7 and burn away his Fire Spirit's mana, which is the most dangerous part of the Phoenix, obviously. Especially level 3 and level 5, it's really big power levels for Phoenix in a 1 versus 1 scenario. Just the damage over time is so extreme, especially when you already have that range versus melee advantage. It's tough for Ice to survive in that lane, but burning the Phoenix's mana is the best way to go, and he just keeps on punishing Bone 7.
Yeah, and he actually gets his salve canceled. And if you just take a look at the difference in CS right now, Ice, who started out with just boots, 1 set of regen, is already up to 13, really close to the top of the game, and the Phoenix is just at 9 right now, so none of the lanes are going too well for C9 Gaming.
I love the choice by him to go for the bottle. I think that is so smart, especially since he's already out of his regeneration. He seems to be doing very well for himself. He's keeping Bone 7
back. He's going to get aggressive here.
Yeah, he tries to force it. The Phoenix Dive is there. And Battery Assault, very good against Phoenix Dive, able to get that mini stun in to be able to stop it. So Bone 7 really going to have to keep his space here, just completely unable to establish any dominance in lane without a lack of mana.
Yeah, and this is the dream scenario for Vici Gaming. Ice of all players gets a one-on-one matchup. It doesn't really matter what he is. He's just going to outskill you. That's the type of player that he is. The mechanical skill for him is there to pretty much play any lane, any role. And we're seeing that on display, but in this mid lane, the Shadow Fiend is starting to catch up now. And this isn't a hero that you typically associate with Fada, but he's doing a really good job in keeping up with CS. Hasn't really been pressured too much. But for me, it's this bottom lane that's a little bit of cause for concern, because Envy getting aggressive right now, but they have to really dominate this lane to kind of make up for what's going on at top.
Yeah, 14-0 on How right now, CSY 21-1. Uh-oh, Bone 7, he's been caught here, and that Battery Assault doesn't matter if the attack speed is slow. Ice will get the damage anyway with the Battery Assault. Big Daddy even rotating over just to make sure, seeing if he can actually save Bone 7, but not the case. And Ice is now going to rotate over. He's got his level 6 coming in soon. Misery is actually going to go up top lane. Looks like they just want to run a defensive tri lane now. Oh, that was close. Ice almost pushing Misery up onto that cliff.
He's just being a nuisance right now. And this is a Bane that's level 2, right? He'll stack one more time and then go back to the base, but you're still just wasting more time. And C9 isn't going to be happy with how the laning phase went at all. They eventually rotate because the Gyrocopter just isn't getting enough at bottom to warrant what's happening at top. Like, the fact that the Clockwork is even in CS right now with the Gyrocopter is pretty insane. And the fact is that even if they rotate up here, Ice is still liable to kill pretty much anybody one-on-one. Like, he's about to hit his level 6. He's playing pretty greedy for it, but it's going to be really difficult for them to pressure him when he can pretty much just turn around and kill him.
Yeah, because of the aggro tri-lane, they haven't been able to stack up for the SF, and because he's Dire side, he's unlikely to be able to stack for himself. You can see maybe he goes and does it now, but it's just too much of a distance, right? That's the big advantage of a Radiant side SF. You don't necessarily need that extra support to help you out with stacks.
Yeah, and right now, Super can't really pressure him, but again, we've talked about it time and time again. It's not the fact that you're getting out CS by an SF that matters. Like, the SF is naturally supposed to be ahead of you. Because of the way that the hero is played, you just have to build the fight just fine.
Yeah, it's not there in time, especially with Ice going with the maxed out Battery Assault build. Wouldn't have the damage from the rocket anyway, but still, Vici Gaming going to be very happy with that exchange. Already establishing dominance in the static part of the laning phase, and now as heroes start moving around, they still are finding openings.
Honestly, to me, yesterday in the Na'Vi game, Ice was a little bit disappointing. I'm used to just seeing him be the best offlaner in the world, maybe the exception to Universe, and I think he even said yesterday, he's like, thanks for carrying me, team, but it seems like today, shoot on the opposite.
Raise 1, raise 2, raise 3, all on the mark. Vada secures the kill on Hao's Spectre. They shut him down. So the movement of the Vici Gaming supports leaves Hao a little bit open, and Cloud9 do pounce on that opportunity.
And they immediately smoke, and this means that FY is probably going to get caught out here. He's the one that's going to tank this. Misery is in position. He doesn't have the mana for sleep. They might actually just turn this around.
Oh, they
Misery's
get the
going to go down, and Fada's running forward, though.
Yeah, they're going to have FY easily caught out by Eternal Envy. The question is, can they get Super 2? Looks like a missed raise will ensure that Super gets back to the Tier 1 tower completely unharmed. So a simple one-for-one trade-off of supports, not too big of a deal.
Yeah, and I think they might be aware.
That's a big deal. They're going to have their heart stack taken away. Fada. I guess who needs supports to stack your own jungle? You could just go into the enemy jungle and find some. Oh, call down actually laid out. Super's going to be slowed down. Cloud9 really wanted to fight this one. Hao's actually going to jump forward. He wants to go straight for Big Daddy No Tail, trying to catch up. Bone 7's coming inside, but so too is Ice. He's trying to finish up Big Daddy. Does manage to get it, but the egg, they're stuck in a bad position. Ice. He can't go anywhere. The egg's going to explode on him, stun him up, and Eternal Envy will close the distance, be able to get the kill in the end with the batteries. So now they're actually going to chase for more. Hao, he's going to drop incredibly low. One more right strike. No, the neutral keeps. He feeds himself away. Bone 7, one more right click as well, but they want Eternal Envy, and they will have him. Super. He's still fighting this one out with Fenrir up against Misery. The sleep gets laid down. Farther away, Bottom's actually not coming over. He's too low to help out, so they're just going to be kill on Fenrir. Big Daddy No Tail's here. Super realizes he's not getting away. Cloud9 get their vision and even up the kill score 8-8.
And that was so close. I mean, if you look at it, Bone 7's limping away. Same with Fada, just perfect team play to get themselves back in this game. At one point it was 5-1, but C9 evening it up 8-8. And the gold change alone is so staggering.
And that's, I think, one of the biggest things there we saw was Ice. You got to be really careful with your choice of cogs. He cogs at the same time that Fire Spirits hit him, and he couldn't go anywhere, right? He couldn't even get out of his own cogs. He was stuck there against that Phoenix Egg and resulted in a very easy kill for them. Vici Gaming, a little bit on the ropes here, especially with Hao not getting that much farm in lane. He's 39-12. Of course, he's even up with the gyrocopter. You look at Fada, he's much farther ahead. The difference, though, between, I would say, Eternal Envy and Hao is that Eternal Envy, he's actually been a part of a lot more kills than Hao has and hasn't died as many times.
Yeah, gyrocopter's just a hero that's going to farm faster, and he can participate in fights because of the rocket barrage, but Hao having this rough time is a lot worse for him than Envy being low in CS, because Envy eventually can't catch up, and I mean, that's reflected in the net worth as Hao is barely ahead of their Wisp, and it's honestly the product of this ward down here that's allowing them to spot for vision, that allows them to continue the dive because they can see when the TPs come in and make accurate decisions. From there, C9 just simply outplayed Vici.
All right, the two-man gang squad, Ice, and Super, are looking for an opening right now. Ice, he sees Fada. He wants Super to get a little bit closer before he makes his jump, but now the range creeps are in the way. And he can't go for it. That two-man smoke not working out for them just yet. This is incredibly important. Ice has not had that good of an impact. He really needs a kill here, and they will jump on Fada now. All ready to jump in. Ice Blast explodes him, and Ice actually makes a quick TP away. No, Misery stops him. The egg will explode, and Hao? Oh no, he actually jumped to the egg. Now he's stuck, stunned up against 4 heroes. He will end up going down, even if Big Daddy follows him surely to the grave. A 2-for-3 exchange in the favor of Cloud9. Once again, they got a kill on Hao. So incredibly important to keep that Spectre down.
Yeah, and even in this mid lane, FY isn't quite level 6 yet, and you saw the difference that the levels on the supports made as Misery at the last second is able to Fiend's Grip up Ice, who, I mean, he had a monster start to begin this game, but has completely fallen back behind, and somehow Super is the first in net worth, which I'm not quite certain of. I think a lot of it just depends on the fact that they've been fighting non-stop, and he somehow just ended up on top with a few more crucial kills, but still, C9's game right now is they do have the better heroes for the late game.
Big Daddy and Eternal Envy gonna push back Hao. He tries to show his face in lane, and he's immediately threatened by Cloud9. Looking at this lower net worth for Hao, what item build do you really expect? It looks like he's gonna go for the phase boots now, but it seems like a straight Radiance is just not a possibility here. Do we go for a tankier stats-based build like the phase drums SNY that we sometimes used to see in previous patches?
I think phase drums is a little bit too hard of a commitment for the mid game. I think just simply going for maybe even something like an urn straight into the Radiance is a little bit better, because it's not like drums is going to help him survive against anything that C9 has. Like the rocket barrage is still going to eat you alive. The chasing potential for the team is still going to destroy you, and so I'm a little bit concerned if he decides to go for the full-on drums. He's probably not going to finish his Radiance by 28 minutes unless they start dominating fights, which I simply don't see. Like, the Gyrocopter does way too much at this phase of the game. Like, 8 to 15 minutes is the bread and butter of Gyrocopter.
Another smoke from Vici Gaming, just not finding the opening they're looking for. It seems like Cloud9 really know what's going on. You can see both Eternal Envy and Big Daddy No Tail sitting behind that tier 1 tower, knowing that Vici Gaming are looking for that gank. There's the only reason that Hao would be pressing so far forward.
Yeah, this is one of those ganks where you don't really care if you get a kill. The main point of it is if you get a kill, great. If you don't, we're at least going to push the tower so fast that you can't respond. But C9 actually smoked up on their own. They're actually, for the first time in this tournament, actually going to defend this. And
oh, the tier 1.
Really hard for them to hold.
It's in deny range. They can't go for it. The glyph is already there. Bone 7 jumps forward. He's got a supernova, and here comes Relocate. They're going to be in a good position, but no! Ice Blast, and the nukes just wipe out 2 real quick. Ice is left for dead as double ultimates will explode him, but they got both Eternal Envy and No Tail there. Vici Gaming will be happy with the exchange, even if it does mean a denied tower.
Yeah, and if you're a C9 fan, for a brief second, you were incredibly excited.
FY, he's going to grab
actually just go down.
Line Strike Array is there, and even if they don't have Laguna Blade, they're still going to be able to have enough damage to burst down Fada. Hao joining in on the fun with his ultimate. Incredibly important kill as Cloud9 feel their core is actually taking a step backwards in net worth.
This is such a confusing game because it's like, okay, C9 probably have the advantage. They're going to relocate it behind. Vici completely predicts that. I mean, Fenrir is one of the most underrated players in Dota. Shoots his Ice Blast directly into the 2 relocating heroes. And then they still win the fight, but then Fada gets picked off right there, even with the mech. Vici Gaming have a little bit too much damage, and this is probably the most back and forth game right now that we've seen all throughout TI5. 13 to 12 in just 14 minutes.
Yeah, incredibly high action game. Ice is going to be looking for another opening here. He had that kind of advantage in his 1 versus 1. It went so well for him. He needed to be able to establish tempo. Him moving around with super, finding pickoffs, essentially just being this 2-man gank squad, getting kills all over the map to free up room for Hao to farm up, as well as potentially Fenrir, who looks like he may be going for a Hand of Midas now with the Gloves of Haste.
Yeah, you don't really need items if you're an Ancient Apparition because you're typically just not going to come to fights. You'll just fire off the Ice Blast, so it's better to just build as greedy as possible. I think that's actually reflected in the fact that AA has the highest KDA, just because he never participates in fights. Yeah. He's not meant to die. You don't get an abandon if you're AFK for 5 minutes. You're just going to sit in the middle of the jungle, throw your Ice Blast, and hope you don't get picked off. But something I do want to point out is Misery already has a 4-staff just 15 minutes into the game, and this will impact a lot.
Now, talk about item choices for Misery. What other items could he have gone for? I'm looking at like potential Glimmercade pickup would have been great against all this magic damage. Is the 4-staff just because the Clockwork is sort of the extra factor that forces you to go for that mobility item?
100%. He's one of the best initiators, so if you can just take him out of the game by making his cogs a little bit more useless, it's going to make a big impact.
Oh,
but
there's that 4-staff coming into play with Relocate on top. Hao in serious trouble, and they don't even try and save him. FY, he's like, sorry, buddy. You're done for. There's no support here. Vici Gaming, unlikely to mount a response, at least yet. With the Relocate back, perhaps they'll still go for an opening here. FY is going to be hit by this call down. Ice jumps in now, trying to go for Eternal Envy. Maybe that's not the choice. Eternal Envy is hit and going to be blown up by that Ice Blast. The combination of nukes out from Super. FY comes forward and actually steals. What did he get? Brain Sap. Decent ability snag, but ultimately is not going to change the tides of these fights. Cloud9 with their 4-man will start backing up.
Still a 2-for-1 trade for them. You do lose Envy, but at the same time, you pick up the Spectre and further slow down his progress. He actually opted to go for the Vitality booster. I hope that's not a full Vanguard. I just don't think that item does enough for him.
Right.
I think it's just one of those items where it's a throwaway. You'll eventually get a heart, so the commitment isn't too hard, and you just want your hero to be a little bit more tanky so that C9 isn't so aggressive on you. It's like, okay, if you want to gank me, it's going to take 2 or 3 heroes.
Yeah, you don't want to be low enough to be blown up by 3 different races from Fada. That just by itself would be enough to threaten Hao. So the extra bit. Why do you think he went for the Vitality Booster as sort of like the value item rather than certain other items such as maybe Ogre Club, early Assange, perhaps even just a Bracer or 2?
I don't think those are any items that you'd want to hold on to the late game. Oh, and at top, they're actually going to make a move. Pow's getting quite low.
He's got the dagger and will be able to get to the trees. And Ice actually now makes his debut into the fight, going for Eternal Envy with on top Ice Blast. They do manage to catch out Hal still in the trees, and Fada will easily clean him. No, he actually jumped away. Oh, what an ultimate. He went over to Big Daddy, and he's into the trees. He may actually be able to get away with the dagger. Unbelievable. He gets the escape. Meanwhile, Misery goes down. Relocate on top of Super, though. He's on the run. Does manage to get the Light Strike array. The last couple of right clicks is there. Big Daddy gets the kill. Gets vengeance for Misery, his fellow support. I still cannot believe that Hal managed to get away with that ultimate.
Yeah, he had like 20 health, walks into that top area. The sad thing is they knew that he was there, but they didn't want a chance going for it. I doubt they knew whether the TP was up or not, and FY just going to kind of bother Envy.
Yeah, double damage on the SF. There's no way they challenge that. BKB is going to be coming in soon. He's already got the Ugu Club and a 1,600 gold in the bank right now. It's going to be tough times. Once they get the double BKBs, the Gyrocopter and the SF, they've got a really great supporting cast in the Bane and Wisp. Don't necessarily need a whole lot of items, and same goes with the Phoenix. He just needs levels, which he will have that level 2 Supernova, which is a huge jump in power for the Phoenix. It seems like Cloud9 are going to reach a certain peak of strength within the next 5-7 minutes.
Yeah, right now I'm a little bit concerned for Vici Gaming because it's 15-15 and you're seeing kills back and forth, but this doesn't actually benefit. Oh, he's just half a second too late.
Ice misses the hook shot there in the top lane.
Should have just trusted his instincts, but these constant back and forth trades, I mean, they're incredibly entertaining to watch, and it's like the most Cloud9 game I've ever seen, but they're still getting the better of the exchanges right now.
You know, those BKBs are just going to make it all the worse for Ice, who chose for his item build to try and go for an early Blade Mail, which would be very powerful against certain heroes like the SF. Jump in here in the middle lane. How? Slowed down by the call down. Gets Misery into the Fiend's Grip actually grabs him. And he's done for. Once again, Vici Gaming just do not have the defensive support to be able to react.
Oh, they're going for the relocate at bottom. This is a huge dive.
Beautiful Light Strike array. We'll be able to hold these heroes with the Ice Blast coming in on top. Eternal Envy's hit by that one, but they have no more nukes left. Bone 7 snag as he tried to just dive right through. Needs to be able to get off that Supernova. Bounce back. He will be able to get it off just in time, but is rapidly focused down by Vici Gaming. Super on the run. Will be able to keep alive. Zangos with Ice, and Cloud9 have overextended themselves on the run. Whoa, what a jump here from FY with that Phoenix dive. Gets some more damage on Eternal Envy. They need one more round of nukes, but it's not going to be there. No, it is. Hook shot, jumping in. Ice, trying to finish him off. The cog pushback isn't enough.
Whatever. They definitely could have gone for objectives. Like, they have a mech on their team. They've got a Wisp. They got a Bane that's overfarmed, but I mean, they're perfectly content to play this game, and it seems like Misery is the only person that has any idea what's going on right now.
Oh, Ice has finished up that Blade Mail, but the double BKBs are there. Gyrocopter and SF both have 10-second magic immunity for the fights. Vici Gaming, it seems like they gotta turn it on now and avoid fights. They gotta go for the more strategical play, because I just cannot see them being able to outplay Cloud9 in team fights, which is the only way I see them beating Cloud9 with those double BKB. It's just too much of an advantage.
Yeah, but if the fights last as long as they just did, then anything can happen. But Ice, he's now got the Blade Mail, which you talked about. It's just not as effective as it once was. You've got Misery, who's got a 4-staff. There's 2 BKBs. You've got the Phoenix, who now is starting to pick up a lot of items. He's almost got a BKB of his own, and that'll be C9's timing. And I actually think they can just go for the Roshan if they want at some point. And I feel like they should just go back to playing objectives. Like, they don't have to dive behind towers to win this game.
All right, Cloud9 already centering up on that Roche. Of course, Ice has been scouting it out with Rocket Flare after Rocket Flare. So if they do try and take down the big man, it's going to be spotted out by Vici Gaming. There will be some sort of response. They have all their ultimates too. It's very tough to take Roshan without an advantage.
Like you said, those BKBs in these early game fights are so incredibly strong. Eternal Envy was able to just walk in there and hold ground, and they couldn't do anything about it.
All right, so the Aegis is picked up on our SF now. Hal's got 2,600 gold sitting on him right now. It seems like 100% we're going to be seeing that Radiance rush now. I'm still a little bit questionable, though, even if he does manage to pick up the Radiance in time before Cloud9 go uphill. Because they're avoiding fights so much, it seems like we're still going to have very high duration BKBs on the side of Cloud9, which obviously means that the Radiance isn't nearly as effective.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be incredibly good just because, I mean, it'll help them farm so much faster. You can split the map, and you can just keep the game going for as long as you can. And you don't want to overextend when your BKBs are down against a Radiant Spectre. The damage that it does to your supports alone is worth it. If you just take a look at the net worth, Fada almost doubles him. That's got to look ugly for Vici Gaming's chances right now. He's still 1k away from just the Relic, and that's not even mentioning the recipe.
There's the Glimmer Cape that we were talking about earlier for Misery.
There's some scribbles too.
Yeah, there's some.
Misery knows.
He seems to know what's going on. There's got to be someone up here in this top lane, and it is indeed Ice. Waiting for his opportunity to get a pick off.
Yeah, the Ward'll spot him coming a mile away. That's just such smart warding by them because they had this warded and this warded, so there's actually no way to reasonably gank Ice. And the reason why they warded like that was because they know that the tier 1 tower is the next objective. So where do you ward? Wherever. That's a pretty deadly combination, and it should extend the game for much longer than it should, but net worth still quite bad for Vici Gaming right now, and the Spectre's not really catching up. The problem with this hero is that you have a really static laning phase. You can't really go anywhere else to farm safely. Jungling is...
I feel like Scotty's the better option here solely because the pure damage nukes on top lane. They're going to try and burst down Eternal Envy. Big Daddy No-Tail comes in trying to go for the save, but now he's pushed back. He's going to go as well. Vici Gaming have just found a huge opening. How? But how actually? Oh no. How? Manning up perhaps a bit too much. Jump down to the bottom lane, and now it's going to be caught. Beautiful bot blocking from on? 7. How? He's searching for a way out of this death hole that he got himself into, but the 3 heroes from Cloud9 will ensure the kill at the very least. That was a huge pickoff in that top lane, but it all just kind of gets thrown away with Hao's jump to bottom.
That had to have been a misclick. There's no way that they keep the game going for a little bit longer. They slow down Eternal Envy's farm, and more importantly, they buy some time for Hao. Like, if Hao hadn't died there, he'd have his Radiance, and that would just push C9 to the point where they just have to go for high ground at some point.
Do you agree with Vana's choice to go for this, Scotty, by the way?
Yeah, I think against a team like Vici Gaming, when you know the Lena's going to grab something like, what is that item called? An Aghanim Scepter. An item like Butterfly isn't nearly as effective when half your HP instantly gets taken away. And then the Ice Blast is the other half, right? So you just need to have raw health.
So at that point, Eternal Envy, he went for very damage-oriented build. Not a big surprise, BKB into MKB. It's pretty normal. But what should his next item be? Does he go for something like a heart? Does he go for a Scotty of his own? What's his way of increasing that base HP?
Eternal Envy definitely doesn't go for heart. I think maybe Satanic is the more likely option. Like Helm of Dom, get a Satanic, wait out the Ice Blast, pop your ultimate. You just need raw HP. I think going for the Scotty is too defensive.
All right, no relocate shenanigans for F1.
Dang.
He just decided to steal 70 experience. Late game advantage though. 9, this is their best opportunity to strike in 5-man push down. Both Alina obviously finishing hers earlier on, and then the Fenrir Aghanim Scepter is going to be coming in soon as well.
Yeah, that's going to be huge, because if you get hit by one of those, the mech doesn't really do anything for you, and Vici Gaming can kind of just chill and sit back and spam their spells. But they're probably just waiting for the Roshan more than anything. There's no real reason to risk it, and Hao at top is so afraid right now. Like, he knows something is up, but I think he might just risk this. There's like 10 seconds that go by and nobody shows up on the map. They're throwing out the stuns. Hao.
Misery, he's found Hao. Super, he's trying to stop this one. There goes the hook shot all the way in. Ice goes in the back. Vana's going to call that ultimate, but they've already taken down No-Tail with, oh my goodness, what a big combination of plays. Both 7 Eternal Envy will single-handedly take out all of Vici Gaming. And now they're going to march straight through the tier 2s, go up to tier 3s as well, see if they can force the buybacks, but there's not a single one out for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, there was no way that was the right choice. Vici Gaming, I think they had an idea of what was up, but you just have to give that tier 2 tower up, if anything, and just play a little bit more safe, because you know how with that Radiance can continue to out-farm, but it doesn't even matter as they're already going on the high ground. Nobody from Vici Gaming really affords a buyback here, because they just had to all in go for items right now. And this is going to mean Elena Rax guaranteed. FY doing his best to extend the game. Decides to split up, but guaranteed Rax in 33 minutes.
Well played. The range Rax going to be left to the range creeps here to finish out. And they'll deal with both the middle and bottom lane pushing in. So Cloud9 have just given themselves a gigantic advantage. But for the 35-minute marker, Vici Gaming obviously suffering quite heavily. Even if they did finish up that Radiance on the Spectre, you're going to need a lot more items to deal with a very farmed Gyrocopter in SF.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the next Roshan to be able to go straight down. I think you continue to just further take control of their jungle. I'm pretty sure they still have the gem. Yeah, Bone 7 still has this gem, so you just continue to take control of the jungle whenever you can, and just make it so that Vici Gaming are holed up in their base. If you only give Hao the top lane to farm when it already has super creeps, I mean, slim pickings.
Cloud9. Roshan's going to be coming up soon. Do they actually go for Roshan? Because it is rather dangerous versus an Ancient Apparition, as well as a Clockwork. There's a lot of potential for Vici Gaming to be able to intercept you in your attempts to take that Aegis. Or at this point, because you feel so comfortable with the strength that you're at, maybe go for the push anyway.
I mean, I think you go for the Roshan, go for the push, all-out assault. You just completely dominated in a team fight. Vici Gaming, they don't have that Aghanim Scepter quite yet on Fenrir. That's probably the item that's going to change their luck the most in this game, but C9 can just hold back, do whatever they want, because Vici Gaming can't really spread out that far to farm. Like, you can use this section of the jungle, like these, maybe these 2 creep camps, and then here's where you draw the line. Like, Hao is playing really risky at this point, but he has to, right? Because he has to find farm somewhere, but I mean, there's always going to be a risk at this point just because C9 have so much control of the map.
Oh yeah, the items just keep on being raked in. Ooh, there it is, double Aghanim Scepter. I was wondering what FY was going to do with all the gold that he was picking up. An Aghanim Scepter, so big opportunities here. If he manages to steal, one of the most obvious steals he can get is, of course, going to be the Bane. Fiend's Grip.
This is so smart for Vici, because C9 is never going to expect them to go for this. They're like, okay, well, we're dominating the game. Why would they leave their base at this point? But Vici Gaming smoked up. They've got the Aghanims on both their support heroes. I don't even know how they managed to do that, but they have the gold.
Like Cloud9. Either they seem to know something is up, which would be a little odd, or they just want to play this as defensively as humanly possible, perhaps given their track record for being unable to close out the game as fast as they would like to. So they're going to play this very defensively. Around the Roshan pit, waiting for Vici Gaming to show themselves. They know eventually they have to go back and deal with that top lane that's pushing in.
Yeah, and Fada just continues to push in this mid wave. What they're trying to do right now is force Vici Gaming to go back and defend lanes. So you'll notice that Hao's at top, and nobody from Vici really wants to go back to defend, because if you show yourself on the map, then C9 just immediately go for the Roshan, but it looks like they're going to go for the smoke instead.
Of course, this is the big advantage of running a Spectre, right, in that you can have that hero be up in the top lane, split pushing, whatever, and can still be there to join you for the rest of the fight. So Vici Gaming still wanted to position themselves around that Roshan pit, or around to defend the tier 2. Hao can't join them at any point in time.
He just continues to steal spells. That's going to be the short raise, I believe.
Not sure if FY is really going to make use of that one. The tier 2 very rapidly going down as Cloud9. Here comes the first Ice Blast here. Jump in. Telekinesis are going to try and blow up Fada right away, and they are successful. Taking him out, and now Vici Gaming perhaps just want to get out of this one. Ice is already dead. They have the Supernova on top. Looks like Cloud9 Super wants to go for the kill now on Misery. And it's just stunned him up a little bit, slow him down. The dagger's there as well. No tail. They actually managed to get a really good stun. FY jumping forward. He's off the Echo! He's going to be able to pop that one! And Cloud9, they're trying to get out of here! Misery's going to go down. He sleeps himself 4 steps away, trying to get some distance desperately, but will not be able to get away from Hao. Oh, he's still He is unbelievable! He's slowing down Eternal Envy for the rest of his team! They're going to get to Eternal Envy! No tail goes down first! He's dead as well! The Ice Blast over the top! FY has gone!
I don't even understand what he just did there. He steals the sleep. He somehow gets the egg, completely turns the fight around. Vici Gaming with the wipe of the century. I still can't comprehend what he just did, but I mean, you talk about supports not being impactful in the late game, but you just proved it right there. That Aghanim Scepter went to work.
Unbelievable. Over a 15,000 net worth advantage for Cloud9 is now being threatened as Vici Gaming start pushing outside of their base. They're going to try and get some objectives here, going straight for that tier 2 in the middle lane. Just getting whatever the gold they can to rack up for Hao, who now has a Yasha in his inventory.
I mean, just look at the items that C9 have right now. They almost have a full they actually have the full Satanic on Envy. He's got a BKB that isn't even at 6 seconds. It's still at 7. You've got SF, who's got a full-on Butterfly Scotty with an 8-second BKB, and Vici Gaming still managed to win the fight with almost no farm on anybody. I just actually can't even comprehend that just happened.
And it's such a high-profile, high-pressure match for Cloud9 that's got to rattle you a little bit, that you're up so far ahead, and Vici Gaming just managed to take a fight against you, but they can't afford to give up any room for Vici Gaming to sit back and farm. They're still in a really great position, and that Roshan is still up. Vici Gaming were unable to take it during the downtime.
It just seems like Vici Gaming, I mean, when their backs are against the wall, they really know what to go for. They continue to play aggressively. Even a Rax down, no buybacks on anybody. They're just like, okay, just continue to go for it. Look for the opportunities. This is a good fight. They instantly blow up the Shadow Fiend using the FY Rubik Lift in conjunction with the Ice Blast and Super's ultimate. Instantly blow him up, turn the fight into a 4v5. And even then, C9 still have the advantage, but FY with those steals.
Now, Super's got 3,800 gold. No Blink Dagger, so there's not an opportunity for him to go like Blink Scythe of Ice necessarily, but it's still going to be a pretty valuable item. Or do you maybe go for the right-click build that we've seen certain Queen of Pains and Lita go for before?
I think you just hold for now. Try to see what C9 go for next, but C9's going to go for the Roshan here. This is the much safer play. And it looks like Vici Gaming do want to contest this. They don't want to give up this Roshan for free. They realize, okay, we did that to Fada once. How are we going to do it twice? We actually can't mimic that again, but they have to hurry because this Roshan is going down quite quickly, but C9, they're so careful.
Flare. Yeah, it's scaring them. They're going to back out of the Roshan pit. Wait for Vici Gaming to have to deal with perhaps the bottom lane push. That's coming in. Rocket Flare after Rocket Flare. Slowly but surely, Roshan will end up going down. Not for anything, because of that Solar Crest that Misery was able to pick up. He is very farm for his support. Vici Gaming keeping a close eye on that Roshan pit with constant Rocket Flares ready to initiate at any point in time. They've got a Blink Dagger from Rubik. They've got globals practically from Ice 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 as well as the Ancient Apparition with a Hookshot and Ice Blast. And then of course Hao is ready to strike at any point in time while he's defending the base.
They're gonna, if they actually want to defend this Roshan, they have to play it perfectly because this time C9, I mean, they're definitely gonna see this coming because, I mean, after that mid fight, like, you don't really, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you still lose this game, but C9, they're gonna take this Roshan so quickly. Eventually, Vici Gaming, they can't just wait by that area. They still have to farm on their own, and good job by Cloud9 taking the safe objective, and I mean, they're just playing this a lot more cautiously than they previously have in games. This is what's going to actually allow them to take the base.
Now this really limits the options of Vici Gaming. They can't actually go for the SF necessarily anymore because he does have that Aegis. A better option would be Eternal Envy, but something tells me Cloud9 are just going to sit back and let Vada sit on the front lines. FY managing to steal Sunray there. See if it actually comes of any use to him.
Yeah, they're just going to send Vada up front, like you said. They don't have to push this too fast. They can farm out the jungle as many times as they want and then approach the base because Vici Gaming, they don't have the wiggle room to get caught out of position. Like in an ideal world, Hao gets caught, but he deals some damage first and then he buybacks, ultimates in. That's an okay death, but to be caught before the fight even happens or before the push even happens, that would be disaster because then you have to play the fight perfectly from there on out. But Hao, I mean, he might just opt to go for the item, but he's got 4,200 gold. If he buys a full heart here, that could just completely turn the game. It's be so hard to kill him, but he still doesn't have the armor to back it up.
Alright, some added mobility from Super. Blink Dagger on him alongside FY, and they're actually going to go for a smoke now. This could be a beautiful opportunity. You can see
they catch them at the top.
Yep. Eternal Envy and No Tail are farming up their jungle.
Oh, there's just no way.
This is a dream for Vici Gaming if they can actually get there in time.
This
left to right, left to right. They're going to move left, and that's the right option. They're going to find it. Going to get the left. Leaning on him. Telekinesis, Ice Blast over the top. They're going to blow up No Tail, so there's no escape for EE. No mercy, they say. Vici Gaming find the pickoffs to prolong the game a bit further.
And this is what I'm talking about because Vici Gaming could just play the patient game, never leave their base, and then maybe there's a 10% chance that they win. But with the way that they're playing right now, they just continue to go for the win. They're like, okay, even if this smoke fails and we run into 5, whatever, but this is how we want to play the game. If you notice that Hao's actually completed his Heart of Tarask, he's not going to go for the buyback. This is a team that's playing for the win. They're not even acting like there's a net worth deficit.
They certainly are. Hao aggressively pushing forward that top lane, knowing that Cloud9 are very unlikely to contest it at this point. Fada's just sitting back, farming away. He could be going for the MKB here. There's no evasion yet. Maybe he wants to go for the higher damage of Diggless.
Yeah, and this is so aggressive right now from Vici Gaming because this tier 2 tower would mean a lot to them. It opens up the map. It's harder for C9 to defend. It means the split push option is available to Hao now. They are going to get it for free. Definitely don't want to buy back for that.
5, 8, and 16. Hao started off having a bit of a rough game with pressure being put on him constantly. dying a lot in the early game, but is beginning to make that comeback in net worth. He's sitting at 16,000 compared to almost the 20,000 of Eternal Envy and 23,000 of the SF. Of course, that net worth is particularly on the SF, perhaps isn't quite as useful. Isn't going to make as large of an impact as it would on a Spectre. So keeping that in mind, Vici Gaming are definitely making this gap closer and closer. But it seems like Cloud9, even after some of these pickoffs, I'm not sure if it's nerves or perhaps they're just very confident going into the super late game. What exactly are we going to be looking at? 60 minutes plus.
I mean, C9, I think they're just a little bit too worried about what's going on. They've got the Aegis on Fada, so they want to make a move, but every single time what's happening right now is that Vici Gaming, whenever C9 split up, they're looking for the pickoffs to delay the game and not allow C9 to just march through lanes, because that's what would happen. Like if Fada just goes on the high ground, right-clicks the tower, he's got a BKB that's 8 full seconds, it's really hard to take him down twice. When he has the Aegis, it's nearly impossible, just because he can pop the BKB on his way down,
right?
And then it's a free life, but Vici Gaming are just trying to extend the game out a little bit longer, but this is so smart.
Yeah, they actually have been pushing up the top lane, which is a bit peculiar because the lane of Rax is already gone, but they backed up, smoked, are now going to try and make some sort of play inside of the enemy base. The problem is Vici Gaming aren't actually there. It's just Ice, Ice, Ice defending underneath his tier 4.
Oh, Hal might just TP in and go right for the top lane.
Oh, he's
be a disaster.
Start moving forward. That smoke is only going to last a few more seconds, though. Timing is critical
Not
here.
sure. He's like, there's no way they're going to be up there, but he's still just waiting in his base.
He waits it out successfully. Cloud9 start hiding themselves in the trees, but their smoke does end.
Oh, and they know now.
And so too does their surprise.
Wow, I can't believe Hal just waited there the entire time.
Hear the crowd. Some Vici Gaming fans relieved that Hal does not get picked off there. He's very close to not having buyback as well.
You want to see this game continue.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of Dota right now, it doesn't even matter who wins at this point.
All right, so there goes. The Aegis advantage is gone for Cloud9. 3.5 minutes until Roshan is back up. Vici Gaming, I think, just bought themselves a good 4 minutes of farming time.
You think Vici Gaming waits for the next Aegis? It's going to be.
Or do they push out now, are you saying?
Yeah, I think they probably wait for the Aegis cheese. Like, if you lose another fight, all of a sudden, everything just swings around.
Right.
Vici Gaming already have the momentum on their side, and they're pretty confident that they can win a fight over Cloud9, so just to kind of make things safe, you probably wait for the Aegis cheese and then just go all in for a 5-man push. But if you're C9, you can definitely wait that out. You can place the more aggressive wards. They've got a gem on Bone 7 still. And Vici Gaming, they're not really going to risk it. Like, maybe they go for a smoke gank at some point, but for the most part, they're just going to be grouped up as 5.
Yeah, I feel like the most important thing is getting vision up. There's no smokes on either side for the next 6 minutes. So Cloud9, they already are holding on to that gem. Misery's got it right now, and they're taking away some of the vision away from Vici Gaming. I feel like both sides need to try and do something like that. Vici Gaming, just to make sure that they don't get caught by Cloud9's aggressive 5-man. And of course, Cloud9 not wanting to give any openings for Vici Gaming to farm up in relative safety. Cloud9 seem to be rather scared right now. They start backing up to the middle lane. No one is leaving this 5-man stack. Last time they did that, Eternal Envy and No-Tail got picked off in their own jungle.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy right now because C9 have a 10k advantage, but they still aren't willing to get in the fight. They're not going to be blind for this fight. They're walking straight up.
Eternal Envy sees this one. Cloud9, they know. They just popped the ward, so they're somewhere nearby. The mid-toe shot is there, and now the Supernova is laid out. Superstar's going for it. Ice, Ice, Ice trying to get away from his cogs, but he will go down. Misery managed to get the feed scrape on top. Super and Fenrir gets stunned up. Hal in the background trying to deal with Fada, but he can't do it. Eternal Envy, oh, he's going to get bursted down. They managed to get the Laguna blade off on top of that one. 3 down on the side of Cloud9. Fenrir's going to fall, even it up. 3 for 3. How and FY, they're going to force Fada TP back. No, he actually has the ulti. He wants to try and go for Bone 7. He lets it rip. FY once again being the commanding position in this team fight.
They're actually going to just chase him down too. FY,
grab the infinity. No, FY snagged it. He's going to get out. Oh, Fada, he wants the kill desperately, but he's done for. How gets the kill? And FY, the MVP of this match, and it's not even over yet.
If there was any question in the world who the best Rubik player is, FY just completely ended it. You can't make an argument for anybody else.
with 1 Blink Dagger, a Force Staff, and an Aghanim Scepter. This guy's stolen 3 consecutive game-changing ultimates. How do you give credit to anybody else on Vici Gaming? This guy is an absolute monster.
And because of him, Hao is now sitting very pretty in the net worth chart. He has now finally jumped over Eternal Envy, taking that 2nd place position. He's got 5K gold in the bank, just waiting to be spent.
That's just pure confidence. You take a fight knowing you're 10, 15K gold down every single time, and you're like, well, FI, you'll figure it out. Like, that's your job right now in all of these fights. Just outplay the shit out of them every single time, and he's delivering.
All right, so Manta's going to be finished up. It's 34-31. Taking a look at that net worth chart. It's going to be going dramatically upwards for the last 15 minutes. What was once 18, 19,000 gold lead for Cloud9 has now been minimalized to only about 6K.
I
experienced pretty much nothing.
The fact that Vici Gaming has completely turned this game around. They lost the racks at 30 minutes in. 20 minutes later, they're standing pretty. They haven't lost a single tower since that moment, and they might even decide to go for this Roche fight.
Cloud9, they've seen it. Roshan is definitely here. Vici Gaming have to know. I mean, between the rocket flares as well as the later spawn time, it's guaranteed. Fenrir, they also managed to pick up a gem, so they're going to start taking away this vision of Cloud9. Very critical at this point. As those smokes, they're going to be coming in another 2.5 minutes. Solid time for Vici Gaming to control this map and get our Spectre completely 6-slotted. And Spectre, by far, has got to be one of the most valuable heroes in the late game with an excess of gold. Once you manage to get that 6 slot, 7, 8 slot, you can do certain things like buyback, refresh your ultimate, go back in. There's so many different ways that Spectre can get an advantage in the late game.
Yeah, and both teams know that this Roche fight is going to determine so much. This is both an Aegis and a Cheese, and for C9, I mean, that could mean the difference between a win and a loss here is I don't really know if they can kill Hao twice if he manages to get an Aegis. And if you give somebody like FI a Cheese, I'm sure he'd use it to his advantage. And Vici Gaming, they don't even want Roche to be a possibility.
Oh, there goes that courier. Sniped out. FY just finds yet another advantage for Vici Gaming. They're pushing forward in this bottom lane. The top lane's pushing out, though. Vici Gaming are going to have to back up soon.
I think that will determine this fight, though, is Eternal Envy actually has a DD rune bottled. No-Tail smartly deciding to give it to him. This is going to make the fight so good for them. If they can't win a fight with this DD rune...
Fada, he managed to pop the BKB in time, and now Vici Gaming on the run, making the turnaround. BKB immediately popped. There goes the Laguna Blade, bringing Eternal Envy down to half HP, but he pops the Satanic now with no Ice Blast. He's not really threatened by Vici Gaming. How he's got to get out of here, run straight through the Roshan pit, trying to make the TP out. No bash, no bash, no bash! Oh, misery. Heartbroken there as he's unable to get that Spectre bash from Roshan. Cloud9, though, still in a good position. Vici Gaming, the first time they really try and take a fight offensively, lose it. There's 2 different heroes, and Cloud9 will be able to snag Roshan.
I mean, talk about timing. They finally decide to go for a fight, but Eternal Envy has a DD rune bottled. Just completely rips through him. He doesn't get touched by the Ice Blast for once in this game.
Oh,
Pops
there it is.
Panic.
I was going to ask you, what sort of items do you go with
How with the ultimate?
He actually pops it, trying to scare them away. Call down gets laid out. He's already finished off the whiz to start with.
Oh, and he's actually going to make a move for Misery. This
Misery's going to go down as well. Fenrir comes in for the side, pops a gold scepter.
Oh, Eternal Envy dropping lower. FY managed to finish off the Fable. Now Hao fighting up against Fada's getting hit by Roche save. Fenrir's going to go down for that one, but Hao gets the distance. He needs a dagger up in a second, gets over the cliff, and Fada will not be able to get the crits necessary. FY comes back. Careful there, friends. He's trying to get a Force Staff away. Fada catching up, though. Pops a butterfly, and one big critical takes him out. The man who has been threatening them for so long, he finally managed to take out FY. Eternal Envy, though, is back in business with that buyback and ready to finish off Roshan. They have to get the Roshan right now because they've just committed so much for this EE using buyback.
His heart has been going to work. He's practically back up to full HP, and Ice He's already chasing Eternal Envy away. Fada has to actually TP back to the fountain now.
Oh, Hao's going to try to sneak this.
Yeah, he's trying to go for the Roshan right now. Eternal Envy, he's going to have to call down inside the pit soon. He sees it, but Ice says, if you want to come get it, you're going to have to go through my cogs first. Roshan is going to fall, and the Aegis easily picked up here by our Spectre. Ice quick to grab the cheese as well. An unbelievable win there for Vici Gaming. They managed to force the buyback out from Eternal Envy, and C9 don't even get Roche.
Again, the fact that the Spectre has an Aegis, he's got a Refresher Orb with the buyback. It's what you talked about. This is such a deadly combination. How 6-slotted, not even worried about a thing. He still has room to grow. He could just get the Boots of Travel and have 4 lives in that case. C9 would be hard-pressed to deal with that as, I mean, the momentum is just not in their favor anymore. They've got the cheese on Ice 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 now, who even picks up the Ring of Aquila so that the Spectre can sell it and increase his net worth. Super, he's got 4,600 gold. He can go in any direction that he wants, and all of these things are going to make such a huge difference because Vici Gaming still have room to grow. C9, not so much. Gyrocopter doesn't even have the butterfly completed yet, and you would want that just so you have the option of going for the rapier at some point.
Right. As our final item here for the Spectre, if he's gonna, trade out that refresher, right? He puts it on the courier, puts it in the stash to be saved when he dies, pops his buyback, and wants to be able to have another ultimate. MKB probably his best choice. He's going to be dealing with double butterflies coming in soon. Vada already has his, and it seems like Eternal Envy is going to go for one as well.
MKB would be a really good choice. Scotty, if you just want to beef up as long as you can for your Manta Illusions and your Haunt, either would be a pretty decent choice, but I don't even know if it gets to that point just because how he's getting so farmed that it might not even matter if he has to get an MKB.
Super Refresher probably going to be his best opportunity. The double Laguna Blades being enough raw, pure damage just to almost eliminate Eternal Envy by itself. I mean, he managed to get both Laguna Blades on top of an Ice Blast. Eternal Envy's dead for just that.
I think going for a Hex might be a better option, or even something like, yeah, I think the Hex is a better option just so that they can deal with Envy when he pops his Satanic.
Right.
There are only 5-second BKBs left in this game, so even if you get the BKB off before the Hex, as long as Super can survive to get it off, it's going to be worth it. And
particularly strong with the Blink Dagger that he's already got. I mean, we've seen the power of FY and Super combined with them being able to jump in telekinesis and blow one of the cores up with the Ice Blast over the top. If you add the Scythe of Ice on top of that, that just extra bit of disable time, it all but ensures that that core will go down.
For me, what's making the difference is the support farm level. If you look at Fenrir, he had a Midas, he has a full Aghanim Scepter, he's got a Ghost or a Glimmer Cape and a Ghost Scepter with Boots of Travel. He's just so farmed and hard to kill. The same thing with the Rubik. We've talked about FI, he's picked up a Soul Booster for himself, maybe even wants to go for the Octarine core. That level of farm is just making such a difference. The Wisp from Big Daddy No Tail, I mean, he's been playing it well, but he still only has 5k net worth.
Vici Gaming, really for the first time all game, we're going to make the jump. Eternal Envy's big
Here we go. Built in telekinesis there. Yes, Eternal Envy. No buyback for 2 minutes. This is going to be all on Fana. Can he carry Cloud9 to victory here? Supernova gets popped. How? Trying to chase around Big Daddy No Tail, wanting to get that kill. The Glimmer Cape is keeping him alive, but finally he will get the kill in the end. How does go down, and that's going to be just the Aegis though. Cloud9 still have to fight this one out. 3 versus 4s. How comes back in? Telekinesis onto Bone 7. Let's lose the ultimate. FY just showing off at this point in time. Vici Gaming though, objective-based gaming, are now going to go for the tier 3 tower and wait for Cloud9 to come to them.
And they've given Hal the cheese now. He has the Refresher Orb. I mean, he's got money for Boots of Travel. He can instantly come back in. 6k gold on him, and this is going to mean a lane of racks at least for C9. They don't want to get picked up.
Oh, Fana, he did get the Lincoln Sphere in time. Now he's going to be forced that forward, trying to get away, trying to get somehow out of this stun, but he does. Finally going to fall here, blows up in a giant explosion. He's got a buyback, but Vici Gaming just keep marching forward. Misery's going to be the next target of How, hoping to be able to get that last right click. Does get it before Misery can turn around and get the sleep. How? He's trying to get away. Manta pops the cheese just in time, and now he's getting away with the Glimmer Cape already. The range racks it down. How starts going for more objectives perhaps. He actually start running through the top lane. Seems like they're going to back away. They need to be able to defend their base. Already one tier 4 is down, and a gigantic creep wave is there. They get some distance away from Cloud9's base and back up to defend their own. They got a big victory there. They didn't even finish off the melee racks though.
And in their haste to end the game, they start to realize, oh no, our tier 4s are about to go down. 169 HP on them as Super does complete that Hex, but I mean, this might actually be an opening for C9 as
absolutely
after this could be exposed. They use the Glyph as well. That's something you have to track as a pro team, and this might just mean C9's go time. They think to themselves, okay, they've been on the offensive the entire game. If we allow this to continue to happen, they'll just beat a lead. They'll build a lead that's a little bit too insurmountable. C9, I think this is their moment to go for it.
They've got, of course, the Wisp, one of the biggest advantages when it comes to backdooring in the late game. They've got to be really careful with that top lane pushing in again, because that second tier 4, it practically might as well not be there. It's only got 84 HP, so all you're left is with an Ancient that only has 4,200 HP. That's chump change to a hero like SF, who's rocking a complete 6-slotted inventory. He just needs to finish up his Satanic.
Yeah, the downside right now for C9 is even if they go for this death push, you've only got Eternal Envy that'll have the buyback that really matters. Fada just used it to try to hold the base right now, and it was worth it, but at the same time, if he goes down one more time, C9's in trouble as Vici Gaming are being really proactive right now. They're saying, okay, let's go for it, let's put the issue on them. Hao's got enough money for anything that he wants. He's actually just bought out something.
So Eternal Envy, his buyback is coming up, 20 seconds. He will have it for the next fight.
Oh, he bought a butterfly.
Vici Gaming.
Full butterfly.
Yep. Coming back, there is no MKB because he chose to go for the Daedalus, right? Because he was like, oh, the Spectre, he's not going to have Butterfly anytime soon. I complete the Daedalus instead.
Oh, the
higher
four-man
damage out.
smoke. They're not going to be able to see this coming. They don't want to get Misery for this, though. They want to go for something a little bit more aggressive.
Oh, Ice just a bit too late there. His smoke pops at the last half second of TP. Unable to get the hook shot out in time. Vici Gaming, smoke is unsuccessful. Cloud9 huddling inside of the base, waiting out the storm.
They can continue to just go for this bottom push, though. They're trying to force in the lane so C9 can't do anything sneaky and go for the throne. Keep the lanes pushed in, have Hal just sit atop because you can TP him in at any point. It doesn't really matter.
You can hear some of the jeering from the crowd right now from that stats. Cloud9, known for their very epic long games. Sometimes intense comebacks on their side and sometimes intense comebacks on the opposite side.
Eternal Envy, he no longer has the buyback. Completely finishes the butterfly, and this is do or die right now for C9. If they can't afford to lose either of the cores, neither of them have the buyback for this next fight. They're going all in for this defense.
Slowly but surely, this tier 3 tower is being chipped away by Super. Gets that kill, and he's ready to go with the blink sight device at any point in time. FY jumps forward, and he managed to grab Sunray, so a little bit of added mobility to him.
Vici Gaming, they have to feel supremely confident. Everyone on their team has buyback that needs it. They've got enough boots of travels on their
Eternal Envy, there goes his sight. Ice Blast is coming in, but a nice force staff will actually save Eternal Envy from that one. Vici Gaming quickly backing themselves up. The Supernova is popped, so too was Hao's ultimate. Doesn't look like we're going to have much happen on either side. Some ultimates popped. That melee Rax in the middle lane drops a bit low. The range Rax is actually going to go down at bottom just from these siege creeps.
Oh, and Hao actually pops a refresher. I think they want to just show himself at top, pretend like they're backing up for this.
Right.
But actually, they're going to go for the full back. But Hao does have the refresher ultimate up. Unbelievable.
FY with an Octarine core.
That's that 1.5 second cooldown spell steal.
Unbelievably. I cannot imagine what kind of plays we're going to be seeing from this Rubik. This final clash is going to be coming in.
He can cast like 9 spells in a fight if he wants. You can just keep refreshing it, don't stop.
It's 62 minutes in right now. Ice just snags it in. Viz right in front of Fada. 62 minutes, 42-36, a 10,000 gold lead for Vici Gaming. That is a over 25,000 net worth swing in the last half hour.
Man, this game, I mean, I really thought C9 had this. They had all the momentum in the world, so many BKBs. They took every Roche, bar that last one, and it just doesn't seem to be enough as Vici Gaming. They played this game perfectly from minute 30 on, and C9 are so afraid right now because they don't have buybacks on their cores.
Game plan splits, games plans. I mean, we're talking about Smoke's going to be coming up here in 3 minutes. Who do you really want to see on the offensive? I mean, Cloud9 just can't sit in their base the whole entire day, right? At what point do you move out and try and get aggressive, try and finish this game? Or do you just wait for them to come to you and try and go for some sort of relocate play through the top lane and into the throne, which is pretty much exposed?
I think there's no reason for C9 not to wait out the buybacks. Like, they've almost got it. They have actually got it on Eternal Envy right now. Fada's getting really close to his, just 1 minute away. Right. He's got the surplus for it. And there's no reason for them to fight before that point. Vici Gaming, they're just playing this slow and steady. Even though their top lane is exposed, they don't really care because they know that the advantage is in their favor with Hao having that refresher orb. And he's actually he's actually toggling it for the diffuser blade right now too. And that's what you were talking about, that 7th item slot that Hao can afford to have.
Why diffuser blade in particular for this rather late game Spectre? Normally, oh Jesus, look at that! They're gonna try and blow up Eternal Envy, but it's not quite enough. enough. The Glimmer Cape will help keep him alive through that Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. Hao's ultimate goes to work and does a little bit of extra damage. It will finish off No Tail, but the rest of the cores, they survive, and that's what's important.
I think it's just for the pure damage potential. Is he's going to just have a courier dedicated to himself. The Refresher Orb is on cooldown for another 50 seconds.
And Melee Rax is going to go down if Cloud9 don't defend. They seem so hesitant to move forward, though, against that burst damage, but it's not there right now.
Oh, they want the next Roshan. Scary thing, though, is that Hao can't be there for that fight for another 38 seconds. And if C9 are aware of that, they're going to see the Refresher Orb at top. He still doesn't have Boots of Travel. It's going to be way too hard for him to join the rest of his team.
Right.
This might actually be an opening right now for C9. I think they maybe go for some sort of attempt here.
They do have at least that one cliff ward up, so they should be able to see Cloud9 coming in to defend Roshan. Rosh is down to about half HP just solely because they're missing their big physical damage dealer. But Cloud9, they may not even know what's going on. Roshan's now down to 3k HP. They're going to start TPing back. They're giving up Roshan. It's going to be Agents and Cheese going to Vici Gaming. So even as the buyback comes back up for Cloud9, the advantage is still there for Vici.
Yeah, the Clockwork is now going to pick up the Aegis. I think it's an okay decision considering he's just the least tanky of the group, and Super, he's got 5k gold, buyback, and Boots of Travel available for him. Fenrir's going to be the holder of the cheese, but it doesn't really matter. If whoever needs it on his team, he'll pass it over. Right. It just has the empty item slot, but Vici Gaming, they're a little bit tentative because they don't want to push into this. That top lane is always going to be in their thoughts.
5,200 gold sitting on Super right now. He's got an opportunity to change up his item build a little bit. Perhaps exchange some of these items. Does he get rid of the Ghost Scepter, or is there any benefit to completing the Ethereal Blade?
I think it's a better defensive item. You probably get rid of the Eul Scepter at this point, actually.
Right.
And get something like Octarine Core wouldn't be a bad idea. Refresh Orb is always good for Lina. If you want to build a little bit more DPS, even something like an Assault Thrust isn't too bad at this phase of the game. Make your entire team a little bit more tanky. And it would help deal with the Shadow Fiend as well, but I mean, Vici Gaming, it doesn't really matter what they go for. All they have to do is play a patient, slow game. Hao can always rejoin them. He's bought his Boots of Travel, and this is their game to lose.
Vision always being such a key factor in this late game. Both teams run around with gems, making sure that there is no information being leaked. Hao's sitting there, and he does have his Refresher ready to go. So the courier that's following him is going to be able to give him a second haunt if necessary.
Something a little bit that's causing me a little bit of cause for concern is that there aren't a lot of Boots of Travels on the side of Vici Gaming. I guess the only one really missing it is Rubik and Super, but Super doesn't have a TP either. He doesn't have a TP scroll, he doesn't have Boots of Travel. I think this is a huge mistake because if C9 just decide to go for an all-out push, he's not going to have enough time to respond. You see him throwing down spells on the ground in anticipation of this, but they have to be a little bit more careful about this. You have 6k gold, you're not buying anything, you might as well at least get the travels.
Yeah, I'm really concerned that they're just letting creeps actually cut down that backdoor protection right now. Now, Hao actually pops his ultimate internal Levy, he's been picked. He goes down, that is a huge pickoff. He's down for 90 seconds, and now they just found more. Misery's gonna go down as well. Easily run down, picks up the gem. Two gigantic pickoffs, one of which does have a buyback. Misery, though, does not.
Yeah, that might actually just be their signal to go now. Get the Boots of Travel onto Super, then just decide to go for the push. You've got 6,700 gold on him. The entire team can buy back, travels in. And Vici Gaming effectively have 10 lives to work with here.
Insane amount of defense, so they push back that bottom lane. Top and middle are still in a good position, so there's not many opportunities for Cloud9 to go for the complete backdoor.
Yeah, and Boots of Speed have been dropped down on the ground. Okay, FY's just got casual boots and then bought another pair of boots and dropped them.
All right, Fada's seems to be banking on the buyback TPN from Boots of Travel level 2.
There is actually a decent chance that C9 still will win this game, though. If they can somehow go for the throne at some point, like they can just make a mad dash. This is still possible, but they're going to have to run into 10 lives on the side of Vici Gaming.
Melee Rax, it seems like it's going to be given up here. Cloud9 are just too close to having those heroes revive. Misery's coming to back up, but they really need to be able to defend top. 20 seconds left for the Gyrocopter. Vici Gaming are trying to force this right here, right now. The tier 3 tower is going to go down to start things off. Another 13 seconds until Eternally Envy is back up. Fada starts challenging Hal a little bit. Let's lose that ultimate just to try and put the damage reduction out there. Oh, what FY! Of course FY would steal that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why we're hyping that up at this point in the game. That must have been the third time he's stolen SF ultimate. It's just getting ridiculous.
Okay. We talk about late game item builds. Blitz, give it to me. Desolator. Eternal Envy. Cheap damage perhaps. FY's going to jump in. Telekinesis on Misery. They're trying to burst it down.
So low.
Force Staff has already brought him low. Glimmer Cape is out there. Missed hook shot. Fada's actually trying to get away. Dropping BKB. Flash over the top. He's going to go down. The Supernova is down, but Vici Gaming are going to be able to get back in time. Won't really worry about that one. The buyback is there. Now Bone 7 starts jumping for Vici Gaming. They're going for the end. They're trying to go straight for the throne, but the glyph is there. It's healing up the throne. Oh, this is amazing. They're all trying to take out the throne. They got to get back here. Vici Gaming trying to go for the defense as fast as possible. How? Starts beating up Eternal Envy. There goes that Aegis on. Eternal Envy now pops a BKB and Satanic.
Oh, they're still going for it.
Fada just playing games, running around the throne as best as possible. Ice.
Oh, the backdoor protection.
He's going to go down. The backdoor protection is healing up the throne. Fada's left alone. Solo up against Vici Gaming. He will not have the damage. He tries, but it's not going to be there. They both fall, and Vici Gaming in that defense have just sufficiently taken the game.
There's no buybacks anymore for C9. I can't blame them for going for that play. That was probably their best shot, but it's just not going to be enough as Vici Gaming. They have so many lives to work with. That's almost 10k built up for Super. Like, he's just taunting them at this point. He's saying, I'm not 6-slotted, but it doesn't even matter. I don't even need travels. I'm so convinced that we've won this game, and how they're going to secure the Mega Creeps before they go for the throne. There's no reason for them to be impatient. 70 minutes in the game. You don't want to throw away this advantage. They're just going to go straight for Mega Creeps and then go for the throne with no buybacks on either of the cores. This is too difficult. Vici already set up around the throne for this.
Mega Creeps are here, and still another 80 seconds on the clock till Fada comes back. Vici Gaming are just taking their time, slowly but surely.
Oh, they're going to go
relocate play. They're going for it desperately, but they've already called the GG. They know there's no help there. There's no help to be found. Cloud9 will lose game number 1, Vici Gaming. What a comeback.
That's the most emotion I've ever seen Hao use. Like, he's going insane right now, like he wants TI again. But that was FY's game. Like, if there's an MVP,
no question.
You got to give it to him every single
time. Just a single game's performance. I'm ready to call him the MVP of this tournament, man. FY, unbelievable play. And what an insane game. A lot to talk about here in just game number 1 between Vici Gaming and Cloud9. So we're going to leave it to our analysts.
Look at that guy. He doesn't even look like he's concerned.
Wow. What a start. What a start to this match. This is only first game.
When Cloud9 plays Dota, we're never going to get bored.
I mean, there's